Well, hello everyone, it's Susie again from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're all well. I hope you're looking after yourself, being kind to yourself, being kind to your family and friends, being kind to your animals and all animals and just people generally in the world, just to make it a better place. I thought I'd start and just look at some of the cryptocurrency exchange news just for the month of August 2018. And just sort of analyse what does it all mean strategically, how should we position ourselves going forward, and what we think might happen going forward as time goes on. So I just like to sit here sometimes and look at the information for a month or so and just sort of strategize where I think, the opportunities are and how I think this market's going to pan out in the future. So just give my business a plug. It's esoterictradingsolutions.com. Sign up. Basically, I offer memberships here. Obviously a standard membership for per annum, which is $230, and a premium membership, which is $400 US, very cheap, no more than the price for coffee. Within this, we set up an investment portfolio, or the cryptocurrencies we like to hold, or the tokens we like to hold. There's lots of updates, daily updates, weekly updates, ICO analysis, as well as existing coin analysis, technical stuff. There's a whole database of information, read at least 35 cryptos as such, all sorts of videos and things, PowerPoints and whatever. And, pretty much, specifically if you've got a premium membership, you get more access to me, plus, one-on guidance, access to specific crypto reports and templates and all sorts of things. So you can read all that. So that's enough of that. So what I thought I'd do is just go through the news just for the month, just basically cryptocurrency exchanges and see if we can glean any ideas to where this market is going to go forward. First thing I want to start with, and there is a bit here, so I want to get through it fairly quickly. I'm going to be talking fairly quickly today. Coinbase just hired a head of compliance from Perishing, Jeff Horowitz, who is the global head of compliance at Perishing. And what that does basically is legitimizes Coinbase, that they're serious about compliance, and when legislation comes in, they're going to follow all the compliance in terms of the SEC, Security Exchange Commission, and all the legalities of what it's like to basically have an exchange, a cryptocurrency exchange. It's like a stock market exchange or any other exchange for that matter. Now, Perishing does global, they're a custodian, and they do global settlements in non-domestic currency. So when we were doing bonds in foreign currencies, say US dollar bonds, we would settle through Perishing. So they're very, very well known. And this guy has got, a fairly good pedigree as well. Binance also bought Ethereum Wallet, Trust Wallet, for the month of August. Another San Francisco crypto exchange was launched, and they were using XRP as the base currency. We've also seen this with hedge funds, where they're actually using XRP as the base currency. It doesn't surprise me because, as you know, XRP you can settle within 1 to 3 seconds instantly, and it doesn't matter whether it's foreign currency or whatever, and they can do scale, and that does not surprise me. Also, we saw Bitvo launch cryptocurrency exchange platform in Canada. We saw another exchange launch a fiat bank transfer service, another crypto Canadian exchange, CoinSquare, list XRP ahead of they're potentially doing an IPO, an initial public offering, and they're looking at US expansion as well. Alpha Point, a cryptocurrency forum, officially announced the launch of DCEC, and it's a decentralized exchange platform aimed at retail and insto. And now Coinbase accept Pound. CoinJar launched a high net worth fund, which is an Australian exchange for crypto based on XRP. So we are seeing themes here, and this is just the news from the 1st of August to the 30th. I couldn't. There is a lot here, so I'm going to talk fairly quickly just to go through this. What else we're seeing is CoinJar, as I said, launches the first Australian cryptocurrency index fund launched off XRP. Germany's number 2 stock exchange developing an ICO platform for cryptocurrency. SBI launched derivative platform built for institutional investors. and is also a huge supporter of XRP and believes XRP will be the #1 cryptocurrency used in the world, which I do too. International Exchange, the operator of 23 leading global exchanges in New York, announced plans to create a Microsoft Cloud powered open and regulated global economic ecosystem for digital assets. New York Stock Exchange is betting on cryptocurrencies, and it looks like they've launched a startup company called BAT to bring cryptocurrency to make it mainstream to investors and consumers and the like. So that's a pretty big story in itself, and this is the theme that we're actually seeing. Also seeing new fund join forces with BitPay Currency Exchange, basically a Berlin-based blockchain-powered equity fundraising startup, and a strategic partnership with BitPay Currency Exchange. Level Trading Field is launching a cryptocurrency derivatives exchange with the help of Ethereum blockchain. Just going through, again, Goldman Sachs crypto custodies, we know. Bitmain, they've also increased their mining facility, but these guys are also going to do an initial public offering for 18 billion. ZepPay, I should say, cryptocurrency exchange offering 50% discounted transaction fees for cryptocurrency. ShapeFit have just acquired a startup, again in blockchain. Bittrex expands and adds Ethereum and XRP. Coinbase did add 40 new cryptocurrencies, so you can see we are getting this theme of immense competition here. Also, Turkey, with the fiat of Turkey coming down, you've basically seen a switch into cryptocurrency from the public generally, and they were buying Bitcoin and they were buying XRP. This is the public. Also, we've found a lot of crypto exchanges are actually going to Malta. ZB has actually announced that, and it's going to relocate to Malta as well. And that's not just ZP, it's going to be Huobi, it's Binance, it's basically a lot of the other exchanges as well. Also, there's some talk that Facebook might be looking to build their own cryptocurrency exchange, which is interesting. Japan's largest messaging app, Line, has established a new corporate token venture with 10 million in capital for startups and blockchain. There's just, other GoX crypto exchange platform facilitates long-term crypto investments. Just go through this. Huobi, one of the third largest crypto exchanges, has chosen 5 partners to open up their platform through Huobi Cloud. It's almost like a franchise. And these are all the companies, and those companies are in the Philippines, Russia, Taiwan, Indonesia, and Canada, respectively. Also, Huobi is expanding in Australia, Africa, US, and their head office going to Malta as well. Also, Huobi has just announced a partnership with Open Financial Network, and basically it's the first US-based regulated security token trading platform. And this is all in the month of August, so it's pretty amazing, all this stuff that's coming out. Seriously, guys. Coinbase gets more serious about decentralization, and it's basically the acquisition of startup distributed systems. This is the Huobi story, which we just spoke about. CME, they're going to be launching obviously other futures, but also crypto facilities added Bitcoin Cash futures. And obviously that's going to be a further progression as well, futures as well. SBI, which is the largest Japanese bank, in Japan, basically is setting up a crypto exchange, VC Trade, and it's going to be the first crypto exchange that is fully owned by a bank. And these guys are big supporters of XRP. Also, there's new research by Sanford Bernstein. The revenue generated by cryptocurrencies exchanges could more than double to hit 4 billion in 2018, which is huge. Coinbase were pre-July signing up 50,000 users a day in 2017, which is huge. Binance releases a beta coin market cap competitor. What else we got here? Binance ICX collaboration to launch fiat and they're also setting up an exchange in Liechtenstein. Now, Binance is also going to Malta as well, don't forget. Canadian Coinbase and Swiss-based BRD announced a partnership which will basically introduce 1 to 1.2 million of BRD customers crypto trading. Bitman and Goldman Sachs are both invested in Circle. Now, Bitman, as you know, is a very large mining operation, and they're expanding into the US and Texas and the like. Also invested in Circle / Polynex, but also these guys intend to do an initial public offering of 18 billion. Now, what that does is it gives them an enormous amount of money from the equity market, and these guys can expand anywhere. They can basically, if they want to buy a bank, they could basically launch cryptocurrency exchanges themselves or anything like that. Another thing here we've got is AirSwap launches OTC market, over-the-counter market, to unlock the new world of liquidity. Just going through this fairly quickly, we do see the volumes of Coinbase and Bitstamp in July and June reduced quite a bit. We are seeing the Asian markets, their volume surging quite a lot. And OKEx, their volume went from 2.9 billion to 5.7 billion, which is massive. Binance and OKEx are both planning to set up in Malta, and they're both winning, cryptocurrency trading share compared to, say, Coinbase, okay? Also, SBI Holdings, as I said, they're a huge Japanese financial giant. They're basically, obviously investing more and more, and they are a huge supporter, as I said again, to XRP. So these guys have been buying, development type companies and everything else. Also, what else we got here? They also injected some money into Last-Roots, which is a Japanese exchange, and this is the second investment they've made. Okay, and they intend to get that up and running. There was a few problems with that. It wasn't being, compliance wasn't being done properly and that sort of thing. They've also invested money in Taiwan-based cryptocurrency hardware wallet, Coolbits, and they also invested another 10 million in Templum. The Shanghai Stock Exchange and Insurance Asset Management Association are cooperating to improve insurance and pension industries, and they're looking at blockchain technology, even though it's supposed to be in China, cryptocurrency is not allowed and all that sort of thing. Huobi basically is providing a more transparent listing process, and it's called Huobi Automated Listing Platform. So it means that they're, in competition with, new potentially ICOs as such. What else we got? Cointree and Goblin, I should say. Lets Australians pay bills with Bitcoin. The Australian Security Exchange here, particularly the ASX, they're looking to do something in blockchain, and they put out a tender. So that's going to be very interesting. I don't know why XRP doesn't go for that, or Ripple as such. BitThumb has basically offered a refund of up to 70% on transactions. So again, trying to get more and more clients. I mean, the cryptocurrency exchange markets are all heading up, and going forward, we're actually going to see, no doubt about it, a mergers and acquisition. Some of these cryptocurrency exchanges, as I've mentioned before, there's 600 regional cryptocurrency exchanges globally. And a lot of them are just going to fall over because they don't have the client base, they don't have the coins on them, they don't have the liquidity, and they don't have the capitalization. So please beware, buyer beware. I use Bitfinex and I use Binance, but I'm loath to use the smaller cryptocurrency exchanges, and obviously any coins that I don't use to trade with that are sitting in my personal investment portfolio. I use my Nano Ledger, or I use cold storage basically. What else we got here? So very quickly, again, Bissen crypto trading app, the second largest stock exchange in Germany, continues to embrace cryptocurrency. Upbit, South Korea's biggest crypto exchange, has seen profit 100 million in the third quarter of 2018, despite a bear market. I mean, that is unbelievable. 100 mil. Now, to put that in context, Deutsche Bank, which is a 148-year-old bank, is flat out making 100 million. So these cryptocurrency exchanges have only been around for a year or two, and they're making 100 million profit in a quarter. I just think that's phenomenal. If we look at BitThumb, they had a major hack, and those guys, even with the major hack, still in the first half of 2018 made US 35 million. So these guys, cryptocurrency exchanges are just basically money for jam. They're cash cows, there's no doubt about it. Singapore Stock Exchange and the Monetary Authority of Singapore are looking to utilize blockchain and basically improve their efficiency on security settlements. Now that could also be, a Ripple, XRP. Ripple is just not, the XRP and Ripple's technology is just not for the banks, it's for everyone. Basically, they have liquidity, they can settle instantly and do it with volume, absolutely. Also, Hubie came out with something which I think is a great idea, an investor emergency fund, where they'll basically use their revenues generated every quarter to buy back some of their tokens and store them in a cold wallet, so that if there is a major hack, they've got something to draw upon to actually pay back investors. Now, I think this is a super idea because they are making money at hand over fist, and if there's a malicious hack of any sort, they've got money to draw upon to basically pay back investors. Binance basically is also now investing in crypto startups and $500,000, and they're basically taking 10% of that ownership of that business. Okay. Again, Hubie just recently, the other day, basically did a backdoor listing on the equity market. It's called a backdoor listing when you take over a certain percentage of a company that's already listed. Now, they paid $77 million for this company. They got basically 66% of the majority of the shares, and that's what you call a backdoor listing. Once they take 100% of the shares, they can basically change the name of the company and have it as their own, rather than listing in their own name. Now, what that means is it's going to put them in the mindset of all the institutional equity investors, the pension fund managers, the fund managers, the hedge funds, and everything else. And basically they'll start assessing, obviously the credit, risk of, and the equity risk and the business risk of these cryptocurrency exchanges. And then obviously the institutional guys will then look at the different assets that these cryptocurrency exchanges has. Now, Hubie has a token, so I can only imagine, my personal opinion, I'm not a private, an advisor or anything like that. But it could, I can only imagine that it may be good. I don't know I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't know your risks or anything else, but you can see where all this is going. Bitman is going to be, as I said before, is going to be doing an IPO, initial public offering, and then looking at 18 billion. Now, if they get 18 billion, these guys could literally go and buy banks. They could go and buy, anything that's listed, they could expand anywhere. Pretty much amazing. What else we got here? Cryptocurrency exchange is basically Sharia compliant. It's a Muslim one, and they've got their sites on going to Malta. Peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchange, AirTM, has raised $7 million, and it will expand into Latin American economies. Security token trading platform Open Finance has launched a regulated alternative trading system for security tokens. Now, I think it was Hubie that invested in these guys, and CoinSquare is expanding into Europe. So there's just so much going on. Let me quickly go through this. BitMEX apparently makes $4 million a day. Bitman made $2 billion profits in 2017. Amazing. Ripple looks like they're going to generate anything from $400 million in revenue from XRP sales potentially. Coinbase generated $1 billion last year. I mean, unbelievable figures we're talking about here. Unbelievable. So I've already mentioned that story there about Hubie. Also, Squarespace is now trading Bitcoin, and there's rumors they may do something else. I potentially have an exchange. These guys have 2 million merchants. So, pretty much, and they're a payment provider, which is pretty phenomenal. Something just recently came out, and Zuckerberg is set to join Hubie expert advisory committee. Now, if that's right or not, but again, what do we glean by all this? What does it all mean? Well, looking, when I like to sit back and I like to think about these things, the themes I get from this is basically, we know there's going to be a huge amount of mergers and acquisitions in this market. There's no doubt about it. The small cryptocurrency exchanges are going to fall by the wayside. The ones that don't have liquidity, that don't have volume, that aren't capitalized, that've got trouble getting clients, that basically cannot compete with the likes of the bigger exchanges that are discounting down to 70% or 50%. And that's what we'll see here. The smaller ones will fall by the wayside, and the bigger ones will get taken over and gobbled up, or mergers and acquisitions. The exchanges themselves, the bigger ones, make a fortune. Now that stops no one from coming in and trying to buy some of these exchanges, making an offer, basically a private offer. It could be the big banks, it could be the big pension funds, it could be, private equity, it could be anything. These exchanges, crypto exchanges, are all expanding overseas. And the more they expand, the more the populace or the population will learn about cryptocurrencies. That is a fact, which can only be good for cryptocurrency markets. Also, a lot of these exchanges are looking at doing a potential listing, initial public offering. Even some of the coins out there could potentially do an initial public offering, i.e. Ripple. Ripple could do an initial public offering. Now, I have mentioned this before. They're all looking to increase their client base. So it's very, very competitive for clients. And that's why a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges are now putting on more fiat currency, and they're putting on more coins. Now, I think the thing is with Coinbase, they've lost a lot of their volume just in the last month or two because they've taken a lot of flack. For example, for putting on Ethereum Classic that was hacked just before they put them on the exchange, rather than something like XRP. And don't forget, Ethereum, it was also hacked, and then they did a hard fork and Ethereum Classic came out. Also, they're all getting ready for compliance and legislation. Okay, so they're all putting themselves in that position, which is going to open up the market to new players, pension funds, hedge funds, traders, institutional traders, big insurance funds, you name it. There's going to be heaps of money coming into this market. The Asian exchanges are getting increasingly more competitive. The Asian exchanges mean business, and they're going to America, they're going to Europe, they're going into Malta. There is just a considerable amount of money that these exchanges make, the bigger ones. And with that, going forward, they'll have enormous political clout wherever they go. Whether they go to Africa, whether they go to Malta, whether they go to Liechtenstein, you name it. Because they can employ people, they obviously are going to increase the real estate costs wherever they are. These people, these exchanges, there's going to be like a cryptocurrency broker, like we've seen stockbrokers, equity brokers, cryptocurrency broker, cryptocurrency analysis, cryptocurrency institutional fund, cryptocurrency retail fund as time goes on. And with cryptocurrency, you'll have the new wealthy. And yes, we've had the wealthy, from the Bitcoin rally and everything else, but we're going to see even more new wealthy. This is what I think is going to happen. These are some of the themes that are coming out from just the news in cryptocurrency markets. Also, we're going to find out and see, obviously, because there's more of a link between the asset classes, the more cryptocurrencies put on fiat, for example, FX, foreign exchange, the more there's going to be a link between foreign exchange and cryptocurrency markets, and the more there's a link between equity exchanges and cryptocurrency markets, the more we're going to see volatility in the link with those exchanges as well. And what we might find going forward is the trading actually changes on the fiat traditional markets. So in other words, when fiat markets go down dramatically because there's another global financial crisis, and which potentially it could be one with the equity market and the Dow being so high at 26,000, and even pre the global financial crisis, the Dow was at 14,500, we might find that cryptocurrency markets act as a hedge to the fiat markets. Now, we've seen that with foreign currency, with the Turkish lira, and we've seen it with the Argentinian peso, where the devaluation of those currencies is so bad, and we've seen it with the Zimbabwe dollar as well. The devaluation of the currency is so bad that the population looks to get into crypto where the market is not going down by as much, or it's going up. And the population will seek out other alternative ways of storing their wealth, particularly when governments in these countries, for one reason or another, like in South Africa, have exchange controls. If there are exchange controls in companies, you physically cannot take your money out. So cryptocurrency tends to be the way to go. So next, what have we got here? So again, we're also seeing stock exchanges developing cryptocurrency platforms, and just with that, we're going to see obviously a stronger link between the 3 asset classes, or the 4 asset classes, okay, being, obviously equities, shares, cryptocurrency, foreign exchange, even potentially bonds, because there are bonds on some of the stock exchanges, okay. As I said, discounted on trading fees, it's going to create incredible, intense competition. I mentioned that point before. More coins, adding, more and more coins. Companies potentially could be creating their own exchanges. If you read Ripple's notes, they have their own exchange. They could make it bigger. There's some talk that Facebook could be interested in, doing their own exchange, because they have millions and millions of clients. There's something about Line, which is out of Japan, maybe creating their own exchange. So what we're going to find is more partnerships, more investments, more crypto exchanges being owned potentially by banks, or the other way around, because the cryptocurrency exchanges have the money. And, we find that more, exchanges basically investing in other startups. And you do see that with Ripple as well. Also, crypto's building, more and more cryptocurrencies themselves building regulated exchanges or takeovers and that sort of thing. Also, just very quickly, Malta seems to be the financial hub for cryptocurrencies. A lot of the exchanges are going to Malta. And you're going to see a movement of people, capital, all sorts of things because of Malta. And again, as I said, cryptocurrencies could list on, the stock market. You're going to see more asset swap, coins, tokens, shares, more swaps between the asset classes. Again, there could be spreads between the asset classes. Could see more miners list and take over other exchanges as well. And again, it's going to bring in new entrants. So it's going to be a really, really exciting place to be. I mean, I find cryptocurrency markets the most fascinating markets of all the markets, because there is just so much going on. And this is just news for the month, seriously. And as I said, you're eventually going to have cryptocurrency brokers and the like, where there's detailed research reports, all sorts of things, where there's proper asset allocation out of the traditional asset classes into cryptocurrency, which is going to be huge. There could be private buyouts, all sorts of things. So just finishing up, with legislation, there's going to be many, many more players and bigger. Institutional players bring in repos, they bring in reverse repos, spread trading between cryptos, they bring spread trading in between fiat markets and cryptos, they arbitrage, they, spread trade futures and physical trading. You could find more volatility in fiat asset classes. Crypto, as I said, could become a hedge. Like we've seen with Turkish lira and Argentinian peso. Sorry if I've got some spelling mistakes here. But, again, we could see all sorts of things, and it's going to be fascinating. Crypto markets more aligned, less arbitrage, but honestly, it's just going to be an absolutely fascinating market going forward. So this is just food for thought, guys. I always like to think about, what it means, what it means for me in terms of my own investment portfolio. What it tells me for my own private investment portfolio is I've got to be, obviously, if I'm going to buy things, I'm interested in buying things that make revenue for a start, because, revenue is basically the bottom line of business, and even cryptocurrency, because even developers aren't going to work forever for nothing, and you stick with the bigger exchanges that are making money. And you basically, because these exchanges could become foreign currency traders as well. And obviously if they do list, it's going to be a great, great opportunity, but there's just going to be so many opportunities going forward. So look, I didn't want to make this too long, but sorry, I've gone for half an hour. But, if you'd like to get more information, I do a lot for my subscribers on a daily basis. And, there is just so much information that I do for my subscribers, and clearly that's my focus. So I don't do a lot of the YouTubes anymore. But look, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you get something out of this. And please look after yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to your friends and family, be kind to your animals, all animals, be kind to people, and just make this world a better place. Thank you.